Chapter 103. The Solution. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 1 to 20. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart, and with all thy soul. But then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. If any of thee be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And the Lord thy God will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land, for good. For the Lord will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law, and if thou turn unto the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, for this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that thou shouldest say, Who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, Who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil, in that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply, and the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away, and worship other gods and serve them, I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land whither thou passest over Jordan to go to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live, that thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, for he is thy life and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 1 to 20. The curse appears early in history, in Genesis chapter 3, and often thereafter. But the curse is not God's last word to man, and this chapter makes it clear that, although Israel's future will see them under God's curse, the curse is not God's final word to any nation. Israel is told plainly that it is a wayward people, but that God's grace is greater than his curse. It is this chapter that Nehemiah chapter 1 verses 8 and 9 cites. Nehemiah prays to God, saying, "Remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, If ye transgress, I will scatter you abroad among the nations. But if ye turn unto me, and keep my commandments, and do them, though there were of you cast out unto the uttermost part of the heaven, yet will I gather them from thence, and will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there." Verse 9 is a notable one. God says plainly that, if they repent, He will not only forgive them their sins, but will transfer their judgment onto their captors. They will then inherit the curses which had previously been on Israel. In J.A. Thompson's words, the outcome of obedience is blessing. To believe that God has now become antinomian and does not want obedience is monstrous. Such a faith is destructive of character. Verses 15 to 20 make it clear that commitment means obedience. It is more than a verbal profession. It's the way of life. Verses 11 following make it clear that there is no excuse for disobedience. The covenant law is not a changing one. It does not vary from generation to generation. It's not impossible to keep, and man has a plain and clear-cut path to follow. The requirements of the covenant are simple. The consequences are very great, both in blessings and curses. The witnesses to the covenant oath are both heaven and earth. Verse 19. God's creation works to bless our faithfulness and to curse our disobedience. God's appeal to obedience is cited in verses 19 and 20. "I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live, that thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him. For he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them." We are here confronted with the mystery of human responsibility. God predicts what he has ordained: Israel's apostasy, captivity, and restoration. Israel is fully responsible for its sins, yet God decrees them. A biblical perspective requires us to accept both God's total predestination and our human responsibility, whether or not we understand the meaning of this. Proverbs chapter 20 verse 24 tells us, "Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?" In verse 20, God promises long life for obedience. Before this, in verses 11 to 14, we have what Sir George Adam Smith, almost a century ago, called the conscience of the law. There is no such thing as contentless conscience. If men therefore deny God's law, they are denying a content to their conscience. According to Romans chapter 1 verses 18 to 21, God's witness is in every man's being, but men suppress it in their unrighteousness or injustice. If they are antinomian, they insistently substitute for God's law their own feelings and intuitions as the equivalent of a sound conscience. The result is Phariseeism and evil. The law gives content to our conscience. As Hoppe noted, the law is designed as a guide to human life. It is not mysterious nor inaccessible, but open to all. It is a very practical guide to daily living. It is the way of life open to all. Moreover, as Hoppe points out, life means life in the Lord, and death is life without God. The law is life because it is an aspect of life, God's creation. It is the condition of life, the good air we breathe, so that to forsake the law is to forsake life. Because the law is not alien to life, nor an imposition upon it, the law, as the condition of life, means that it is the health of our being. In Romans chapter 10, verses 5 to 10, St. Paul quotes Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 11 to 14, to set forth the supremacy of the gospel as the regeneration of man's heart. The law is the way of life of the redeemed man. It is in his heart and in all his being. It is not alien to man. In verses 11 to 14, Moses presents the way of the Lord, obedience to the covenant and its law, as the easy and natural way, which it is, because we were created in God's image to serve and obey Him. Because of the fall, it has become the hard way because it goes against our will to be our own God and law. Our warped being leads to a warped response, and only our regeneration makes us willing to be obedient. Mankind was made to serve and obey God. When man, the creature, attempts to play God, he plays the fool and moves under judgment and death. Greek civilization made the solution to the problems of this world one of knowledge. Man's salvation was thus from ignorance into factuality, into knowledge. Now, if man's problem is ignorance, not sin, then there is no moral guilt in ignorance. The state and its educators are not regenerative, but therapeutic. They provide healing by education. Because of our departure from Christianity, we now have a therapeutic state and therapeutic schools. In this perspective, man is not a sinner but a patient. His view only aggravates man's predicament because his problem is a moral perversity, not a question of ignorance. As a result, this failure to face up to the human problem is aggravating the problem. Moses here states simply that the fact of moral dereliction is death for man and society. The solution is a very simple one. Believe and obey God.